Hey, hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm sitting here in the dark because my guest and I, Jim at Above and Beyond, have been sitting here having all kinds of Skype problems and went right up to the wire as far as turning the thing on and, and getting live. So, Jim, how are you? Say hi.
Good, Mitch. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Okay, do we have anybody watching this thing?
It says five people are watching.
Okay, there we go. All right, guys. So I'll tell you what, Jim, now that we're all here and live, I'm going to turn the lights on. So give me a minute. Hang on a second and I'll be right back. Entertain everybody. This is professional show business.
I listened to all that banging around. Yeah, I had to change my email password in order to get my Skype to start working. It's Peter Carroll saying hello. Hello, Pete. So yeah, I had to change the Skype password and the Hotmail password in order to get this working. But we have it working. Now he's running OBS and I'm on Skype. And originally it wasn't working, but appears to be now. Oh, that's cool. I can go half a screen of each. I can go half a screen of
All right.
Skype and half a screen of YouTube.
Okay, how you doing, everybody? We got 6 people here, and who's in the chat? Peter Carroll, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. I'm going to say hello in the chat. If anybody wants to see me, we got 3 people in the chat, 6 people watching. Not the biggest start in the world, but here we go.
Asgard Studios, drone shots.
Hey, Hugh, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see here. Let's fix you, Jim, and got to work on your display a little bit. Hang on a second, and which one is you here? Oh man, I'll tell you what. There we go. Got to make room for the next guy. Okay, make you a little smaller in the corner. Oh, what a day! What a day! Everything happens at the last minute. Everything happens at the last minute. You know, you think you're ready, and then you have last minute technical difficulties, and the technical difficulties, of course, are integrating Skype and OBS and everything else. So here we are. At any rate, Mike Roche is going to join us as well here as soon as he gets himself set up. So you'll all be able to sit through that next little bit of technical work. 8 people. Okay. Who else we got here? Mitch, says Mitch. Oh, I'm not even logged into this as old guy in a drone. All right, folks, when you see somebody in the chat named Mitch, that'd be me. Unbelievable.
That's right.
Yeah.
It has your logo though.
Yeah, because I use that logo for my name too. But let me hang on a second here, because yeah, that's funny. Anyway, so that's what happens when you work all day. I had all kinds of things I was working on today. It seemed like everything went wrong. It seemed like it was one problem after the next, and then the next thing I know, it's almost 6 o'clock, and we got to get going. And then had a little Skype setup difficulties. And here we have Mike Roach says he's ready whenever we are. So we're gonna bear with us through this. Let me give Mike Roach a call and see if I can bring him in here. So, Jim, have you ever met Mike Roche? You hear it ringing? Michael, answer the phone. I don't know what's going on here. Michael's unavailable. Are you still there, Jim? Jim, we lost you too. Oh, here we go. Okay, Jim, you're still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to call Mike, but it for some reason didn't go through. Wow. Wow, wow. Okay. So,
Does he know enough to call you?
I called him. I called him the last time, but for some reason, is that your noise or my noise over there?
No, see, I thought that was yours before.
No, it sounded like a truck drove by or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It sounds like a truck went by. But why do I have to add Mike to the call here? Oh, you think by now I'd know this. Hang on one second. I want to try this again. You're still with me, Jim?
I'm still with you.
Okay, so
And I just got back from Walmart buying shelving. I got to find somewhere to put these drones up and get this garage squared away.
all right. Well, let me try Mike again, and we'll see what happens. Now, what happens is when I'm calling Mike. Okay, there's Mike. I think I lost Jim now. So what happened? Hang on. Yeah, but I'm not getting. I. All right. Do I have both of you, or did I hang up on Mike?
You got me.
I don't know why
I'm here.
I don't know why my Skype. Hey, Mike, if you're listening to the stream, why don't you call me? Because every time I call you, I seem to lose you. Hey, Brent Nunley, how are you? Drone Shots, Exploration Obsession, Peter Cower, how are you? Rodney Bell, how you doing, my friend?
Rodney.
Yeah, good to see you all here tonight. We're having our share of Skype problems, and I'm just trying to see what I'm missing here. What I'm missing? How do we add somebody to the call here? As opposed to having just one call, or am I running an older version of Skype? Wow.
I think they automatically update it, don't they?
You'd think, yeah. I'm using OBS. Oh, you just put that in there. Remote Pilots Australia, how are you? Phantom Hodges Drone, how are you? Everybody's pouring in here. That's terrific.
Remote Pilots is Ari.
Yeah. Hey, Ari, how are you? And I'm just all kinds of technically underwater here tonight. I should have done this with a Hangouts. I really should have done this with a Hangouts, because I think what happened was, for some reason, my Skype has updated itself, and some of the stuff that was working last time isn't working anymore. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, if you bear with me, guys, 1 second, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. While I'm playing with this stuff, Jim and I met up yesterday, and the reason that I thought it'd be cool to have Jim above and beyond on the stream tonight was that he lives. Okay, here comes Mike Roche. So let's see what's going on here. So Mike, okay, now I got you on another window here, but audio only. So and it says audio only. Did you turn your camera on? There you are. Okay. And Jim, can you still hear me?
Yep, can hear you fine.
Okay, now I can hardly hear you, Jim. So go ahead and say something, Jim.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm here.
Mike, I got your audio good, but I got Jim's just kind of went away.
Yeah, see, I don't hear Mike. I hear Mitch.
Right. So what happened was I was trying to add. Hang in there, Jim. We'll get it fixed. Mike, I was trying to add Jim into to the same Skype as an additional conversation, kind of like we did last time. And you called me and it opened up a separate window. So I'm going to hang up on this one, and I'm going to keep working on trying to get you back in. Okay, so hang in there, and we'll see if we can get back to you. All right.
Well,
Thanks. All right, Jim. Can I hear you now?
yeah.
All right,
Maybe
now
he
you're
calls you.
No, there's a open conversation. No, that's you. He did call me. That's what happened. Was he called me, and it opened up a whole nother Skype window, which had nothing to do with, and it kind of blocked out yours. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's get on, and there's some stuff that I want to do here, and I'm going to. I spliced together a bunch of that stuff that we shot yesterday when we went flying. Okay, now Mike Roche is calling me again, so I can't do that. Okay. A bunch of stuff when we went flying yesterday. So because we live close to each other, so we went flying, and I took some stuff with my drone and some stuff with my GoPro, and I kind of spliced it together a little bit, and what I'm going to do here is set it up, and it was windy as hell. It was windy as hell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to start playing this, and you'll see it delayed in the stream, Jim. Okay, and the audio is...
Oh, okay. I don't have a wind filter on this microphone.
So you listen to this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in Skype down into the corner of that thing
Jim,
as well.
Above and beyond. Hey guys. And we realized that we didn't live too far from each other. So I came out here, and he said he knew this place to fly.
Yeah, but they can't hear you right now, Jim.
Potential housing
will in a
area
minute.
that was built in the 60s. And how many miles of roads are in here?
200 miles.
200 miles of nothing but streets going in every which direction, and it is absolutely just wide open, and probably be a nice place to fly FPV. Today is very windy, but Jim's got a big time drone here. This is the Matrice. He's got his Matrice 210, and if it isn't too windy, I might put my Mavic Pro up. But
Yeah, I brought that too.
Well, we're going to... Holy cow, look at this thing. Wow,
This is the RTK here.
that's a real... Oh man, we're talking serious stuff. It's not like a Mavic, is it? Where you just
It costs a few dollars more.
not just that, but you don't just open the case and unfold the legs and away you go.
That's the Z30 camera in that case.
Okay, he's got the Z30, and wow.
And that's the Bimor combo.
Yeah,
Comes
the
with
case.
that
Yeah,
bag, yeah.
the Mavic.
You
too.
have that, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
See the TV screen?
Yeah, I see. You got a monitor in there and everything. And this is not too windy for this drone today, I would imagine. No.
These are 17-inch blades. This
Oh.
thing can handle 40.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, we're going to see what we can do. Have some fun. Okay,
Okay, Jim, I think I got you in
and,
here, up in the corner.
Boy, this is
You'll see
quite a
yourself
piece of
in a minute.
machine.
You can talk now if you want.
All righty.
Quite a piece of machinery.
Yeah,
There's the feet.
the setup on that takes a good
See,
couple
this
of
part
minutes
here
before you get
is a front
that bird
vent,
up in the air.
right? And that's how they sell it. And they say it's IP43 rated.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you're going into the rain, you're not covered. So I bought this from Fly High USA. Plastic cap. It just
okay.
slides right over there.
And what, you got blinking strobes on there?
Oh, yeah.
And
These are the Arc 2.
this is all part of the
These are the RTK antennas.
RTK
That
antennas
hook up to that.
that hook up to this thing here.
That's the base station.
So this is the base station. And that gets you a GPS accuracy of
1 to 2 centimeters.
1 to 2 centimeters for mapping it and like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and see what it'll do.
Ah, I see what I did wrong here. All right, I'm going to try to bring Mike Roche in while we're doing this.
Flying going down into a house.
So what you're saying is it's probably a little more stable than a Spark.
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's so much more involved, which is what everybody said. You know,
Well,
talking
it's
about.
not that big a deal. You just pop out the legs. You can put the props on.
Hey, guys.
Slides and batteries.
Okay, we got you now, Mike. Now I just got to bring you into the picture.
And 10 minutes
All right.
later,
Yeah. and a half an
All
hour
right,
later,
so hang
here
in
we go.
there.
you got to put these in tight. I saw this one guy. He didn't.
Boy, you can
squeeze
see
in.
that wind. What was that? About 30 miles an hour?
Yeah, 20, 25 miles an hour wind. It was
Holy cow.
really
Well, that's not
blowing.
good. That is not good.
It's longer than you. And I have the 5-foot launching landing pad.
Is my camera on,
Okay, we
Mitch?
have a
No,
big
it isn't, Mike.
landing pad here. I
Should
don't
be
know.
now.
I don't know if you can see the size of this thing,
Now everybody sees how long that setup is.
but here you
Now
go.
some people
There you
put
go.
that
Now you can
together
see
and
how
kind
big
of
this
brace
thing
it
is.
in the
What is
back
it,
of their
5 feet?
vehicles
Yeah, it's about-
without the
oh, this
camera
one
on
is
it.
gonna be terrible.
So the camera's not, you know, every bump you hit in the car, it's not killing the gimbal.
Now,
You don't have to fly with the two cameras, do you? You
No,
can just fly with
no.
one if you want.
you can also.
Oh, you're
put
showing the
one
size
on
of
top.
the hood man.
4 holes here.
Yeah.
The one on
Can
top.
you hear me there,
I
James?
can hear you, Mike, but nobody else can right
All
now.
right, so here we are.
Actually, I
I'm
hear you,
flying
Mike.
my
Oh, okay, yeah,
drone.
because Jim, you'd
Jim's
hear him
getting
on
ready
the,
with
on the
his
thing.
drone.
Is that the antenna
And I
on the
got my
drone
little
that I see sticking up?
Mavic 2 Pro
Yes.
just hovering
Wow.
right up there, and this wind.
Those
it's
white
sitting
pucks
there.
are the real-time kinetic
picture of the
R2K
Matrice
antennas
as
to
it
the
gets
drone.
going.
And that antenna there
Clamp this
is the
camera
ground
in the
base
tripod
antenna,
here.
the base station
In case it
antenna
has to
Oh,
For the-
okay.
up a little bit,
for
so
the
it can
Sendin's
take
remote
over.
controller.
Right. Wow. And I'm new in the conversation. What do you use those for? What application?
Construction.
Construction?
Yeah. This bird is solid in the air. When you're flying around power lines and stuff like that, you can't have a bird that'll dip up and down or get taken by the wind.
Right.
You know, it has to be steady.
Yeah. Wow, that's and what in construction do you do inspections? Do you do measurements? What kind of things?
It's really been, for me, it's been progress inspection work.
Okay.
Like developers, they buy the land and then start building. Well, from that point on, I'll either do weeklies or they'll call for certain stage of the building,
Right.
you know, proof before they make payouts.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. In my settings, it says float.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay. Right. Right.
Magic says it can hear all of us. And Peter's, yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Hello, Manic, down in Australia.
Yeah, I was flying something.
Okay, well, I was flying in orbit around you there. I had my mic off. I was flying in orbit around you, and then you went down lower, and now I come over with the Mavic 2 Pro, and I fly over the top of you and shoot straight down at it, which I thought was kind of a neat shot.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I want to see that.
No, you'll see it. Watch. You'll see it a little late. It'll be, it'll be delayed a little bit on the stream, but you'll see it. I'm coming in, actually on top of you, and you can actually see up. If you look up right in that cloud, you'll actually see the Mavic Pro out there hovering right over the top of you. And it's hard to see, but there it is. And then I take off straight up with the Mavic, and you're down low hovering.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Those are 17-inch props.
Yeah, that's a big drone. I couldn't get over. I could not get over the size of that drone.
It certainly doesn't have the stealth of a Mavic 2 Pro.
Now you can cut down some serious weeds with that thing.
You talk about a wide open place to fly. I've never seen anything like this. There it is, popped up there. You'll see, and it was really cool. We had a good time. It's a shame the wind was bad. If you keep watching here, you'll see that that I just put in a second here. I just put the stick all the way forward in P mode and made a turn and turned right into the wind, and I got all kinds of warnings, and it says it exceeded the angle that it could, and the gimbal couldn't keep up. And you'll notice there's two places where the gimbal actually dips down and up, and that was because the wind was ridiculous. Now the wind didn't bother your deal, did it? No. But
it will. I'll get something like a propulsion warning. It'll slow down the blades.
Oh, really? I'm going to turn the audio down from the stream, from that video, because that noise, it was terrible. I put it into Premiere Pro. I tried all kinds of denoisers and bandpass filters to get that noise out of there, and I managed to get a lot of it out of there. But the one thing that I didn't do that I should have done was actually bring a microphone with a dead cat on it, and I didn't. So
now, Mitch, did you just see that part? I think you were talking and not looking, but that part was there with just the truck in the background.
Yeah,
Mitch,
no antenna. Was no antenna. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that. All right, Ari, what made you a moderator? Because I went ahead and got the right user in here, so I can do things again. So you're not the only white guy in the room anymore. You're a blue guy like the rest of us. Hey, do me a favor, everybody. Click that like button for me. I need all the help I can get today. Today's been one of those technically challenging days. And Mike, after we're done with this, I will try like hell to go to another screen and bring you in so we can all see you.
Okay. Well, anything's good. I actually will probably have to pull a Bob Hope on you, like on Johnny Carson. I think I'm going to be Ken Herron's Caller of the Week.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, and that won't be till about 9 o'clock, though. We'll probably be long. We'll probably be long on. Yeah, listen, Mike. I don't know if I can keep up with you anymore. You know, you're a star. I've seen you everywhere.
Well, you know, you don't turn down Ken Herron, you know.
No, I don't blame you. Listen. I'm surprised Mikey hasn't been on Ken Herron's show yet.
He actually tried to call me last week, you know, and he misdialed the Skype number, I think. So Jeff Sills sent me a note saying he was going to try and get me on. So don't quote me, but I might be on there later.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully I'll have something to say.
Hey, Mars, how are you, my friend?
Crikey.
There you go.
So Mitch, you want me to just sign off and just watch the show?
No, hang on here for a while. But Jim, okay. I want Jim to narrate some of this stuff with the drones here. So Jim, feel free to narrate.
That was you. That was you landing on.
Yeah,
that.
I landed, but the rest of this is just me shooting you now with where you put the Z30 on it and.
Now, did you land that, or was that the return to home?
No, I landed it.
Okay.
I hardly ever use
the nice thing about it is
You know, and that's something we were talking about. When you
change your shutter.
when you have these things, it's got 75 different modes and all that. And I always wind up just using the P mode, flying to where I have to fly. And if I have to orbit, I'll slide it around, and I do it myself.
Yeah, I find myself doing the same thing. I use the intelligent flight modes little or not at all. I can't remember the last time I used any of those waypoints or quick shots or anything like that. And I just like to fly. And for here, I'm walking in orbit around you here.
You had an ND-16 on, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I had an ND-16 on mine, and I did brighten it up a little bit in post. I may have had the exposure value set a little dark, but it came out pretty good.
This is in Florida, guys. So that sun was extremely bright.
Oh,
Right.
it was a very, very, very bright day there, and we had a good time flying, and while we were there, you'll see the. In fact, Jim, you released a short video on it. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yeah. Of these guys just came up in a truck, and the next thing you know, that must have been a 50-foot tall, at least 75-foot tall antenna, portable antenna. And it looked like it had a bunch of surveying kind of stuff on it. And at first, we all thought it was some TV news crew. Remember?
Yep. I was spotting it out to you and saying, Mitch, look at them. There's TV news. Let's go over and see what it was. So that's what the drone is going to do now, isn't it? Oh no, it's coming back.
Yeah, no. This is the point where you first put on the camera, and
that's the Zenmuse Z30.
Yeah. 30 optical zoom, and
30 optical, 7 digital. Yeah.
And I did get some shots of the screen where you could make it out, even though the sun was glaring on it, and you can actually see this thing zoom in, and it's absolutely scary how you for surveillance purposes what you can do with a drone like this. I mean, if you wanted to spy on somebody with this drone, they'd never know you were spying, because this thing would be so far away from them they wouldn't see it or hear it. It's incredible. Hey, Manic is in Trev. How you doing, my friend? Chris Hope, EBR. How are you? Who else?
Yeah.
Who else did
all
I
those
miss?
guys, Manic and Mars and
616.
616. Yes. How are you, my friend? And we got Australia represented here. We got Mars. We got Peter.
Remote
terrific.
Pilots Australia, Ari.
Ari is here. Yeah. That's
And
great.
always hello to Chris Hope.
Oh, of course.
Mike, he can't get a good shot of that screen because of the sun, but
No,
that one, it also tells you with the ADS-B if another aircraft is approaching,
Oh wow.
which is a real nice feature.
Right.
Yeah, but you can see the screen. You can see the screen good enough here to be able to see the amount of the zoom that this thing does, and it's nuts. And you know, when I looked at the video, Jim, that you put up today,
Yeah.
it was sharp as a tack. I mean, it looked a lot sharper than it looked on the monitor there. It was really clean, really crisp.
Oh, here we are. We found that. That's the antenna these guys were putting up while we were standing there.
No, you were right here. You were doing a palm tree at this point.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you started that. I don't know if I actually filmed any of you shooting that antenna. I think I was over there with you trying to figure out what the hell it was. And Happy Lux from Luxembourg. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for
Hello,
coming
Europe.
in. Thanks for coming in. We got Europe. We got a worldwide deal going on here.
Now, Jim, when you just zoomed in by tapping the screen
Yeah.
on your Crystal Sky, is that a digital zoom on the screen, or does that make the camera zoom in?
You can set it. It's the camera zooming in, but you can set how many times you want it to zoom in each time you tap it. I have it set at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this house that you're doing right now, and Jim, you won't see it yet for a few seconds on the stream, but you did this house
Several
and then-
miles away.
and then zoomed out from it And that's what blew my mind when you were looking at one of the windows of the house filling up the whole
Holy
screen,
cow.
and then you zoomed out from it, and you could hardly see the house anymore. It was absolutely incredible. Watch this. I'm looking at it on the stream now, but it's already happened. And I think, Jim, this is where you actually let the thing land itself. Yeah, you did.
Wow.
You used the precision
We wanted
landing.
to see if that return to home would work.
Yeah, and it plopped right down there on the pad.
Yeah, I had never used that before.
Yeah, it worked
Return
great.
home.
How cool was that? Oh,
I'm-
man. All right,
I-
Mike. So what I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to try to see if I can, hang on one second here. I'm going to see if I can somehow manage to get you in. Hold on.
Now
I got Jim in there twice now, and properties. And,
I only see me on there.
No, I'm on.
On the
No, it's just to show you what I ended up with. I ended up with you twice where Mike Roche is supposed to be. Well, you know what I might try to do is
I see Mike on the Skype, but
Yeah.
not on the YouTube.
You'll see him on the Skype, but I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn this on,
and
and
then
this
switch
off.
it over to him.
and I'm going to try to switch the other one that you were on to Mike and see if that one will switch. So right now I got you on the bottom, and let's go to properties and switch this over to Mike. Ah, come on. No, it's just not doing it, Jim. And that's weird. It's just not doing it. So, yeah, and that's how I brought Mike in. I missed that completely, but for some reason, it's not. It's supposed to send. Skype is supposed to send the two signals individually to OBS as different streams, but the only stream is seeing his name, and I'm seeing the stream when I select it in the properties. But when I hit OK, I still end up with you. Not that there's anything wrong with you, but two of you would be way too much. So, yeah. So what I can do here, well, I can't do that either, because if I switch off to a scene, Jim, that doesn't have the Skype window in it, then nothing you say will come through either. So I think there's things I like about using OBS. I like the control that I have, but I think I really need to do some more testing with this, with integrating the Skype into it, because I had it all working great. Last weekend we had Mike Roche, you and Philly were in, and worked fine. MU Free Music, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. No. What happens is no, I can't do that. I can't do that. No matter what I do, you're the only one that shows up in any of the windows that I put in here for Skype, and I've tried 4 different ones already, and that's all right, Mike. I don't know. So, Mike Roche, what have you been up to? All right, hold on one second. Let me interrupt you for a second. Now, Jim, you're frozen up in OBS too for some reason. Why is that? All right. No, but no. Here you are. You're back now. Yeah. It was still set on Mike Roche for some reason, just locked you up. So at any rate, we gotta stop playing with that. We gotta stop
Manic
playing with
Magic says, Mitch, yes, I'm doing OBS now. So does he know? Manic, do you know how to that Mitch can get the mic on?
Well, it's. I know how to do it. I know how to do it. But what's happening is it's using the NDI protocol, and when you go into OBS and you set up a Skype, what they call an NDI source, you have four different. You set up a number of different windows for it, and then you go into the properties on each window and tell it which Skype stream to bring in. You see, and the choices are all there. I see when the drop-down box, I see Mike Roche, I see Jim, I see you, and yet when I pick Mike Roche for the window, you show up. So it's hard to tell what in the world's causing that. It could very well be that if I actually closed OBS and opened it again or rebooted something, but you can't do that. You can't do that in the middle of a stream. So I'm afraid we're stuck. We're stuck.
You know
with
something?
This. What?
Mine says ongoing call live, Mike Roche, and then Mitch Weiss. So it's showing the both in Skype.
In Skype itself, which is operating outside of OBS. We are having we're having a three-way conference call, and we each can see the other
both
two.
You guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just that it's trying to interface with that into OBS and.
You had it working last week, you said?
Yeah, it was working fine last week, and I don't know what I did any differently last week than this week. It's possible that I noticed Skype had updated itself or done something, and maybe there's a bug in that in the iSource. But I'll have to experiment with it before the next stream. All these things are professional broadcasting at its finest. At its finest. So let's see what we're doing in the chat here. Let me see if I'm missing anything. We got Love My Drones. Hiya, how you doing? He's here. Said hello to me and
Exploration Obsession. Those guys are pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it here on a Thursday evening on the Ken Herron pre-show.
Gary from Brant Aerials.
Yeah, Gary was here. Gary was the one that pointed out to me that Jim had frozen up. So I'll tell you.
He said he had a crash, but he saved it or fixed it.
Gary,
yeah.
Did you have a crash? Did you lose a drone?
His Mavic too.
Oh no!
I'm going back.
He was. Hey, did anybody watch Philly Mike's live stream today? He's been having all kinds of technical issues and testing and trying different kinds of devices. I know he tried a new iPad, and then he tried the Galaxy Tab, and today he was back on his I guess his phone again with DU recorder, and he was going real good and thought everything was great, and all of a sudden it started buffering and went offline and heard anything else.
Right.
You know,
I caught the tail end of it when he lost it.
Yeah.
There, but he did get a $20 super chat, so
so it wasn't a total loss.
Right. Makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Right.
So guys,
$13.
Would you like to see in the background here some of what I've been up to lately?
Sure.
You're trying the FPV, right?
Yeah, and what I've been doing is practice. Since it's been so windy outside, I've been playing in my house with this little guy. You can see this down in the corner there. It's a little Eachine M80. It uses a little one-cell battery, and you can bang it into things. And the biggest problem that I've been having is learning to not think about what I see in the goggles and what I have to do with the drone. So I've been every day I fly 2 or 3 batteries around the house. So what I did was I went and grabbed a bunch of clips of, and this is a little earlier on, where I'm bouncing off of things and everything. And here I thought it'd be cool to kind of look in the mirror at the drone. You get about a 4-minute flight out of it, and I sit in the other room, and there's plenty of things in the house to make an obstacle course out of. A lot of doorways and bedposts and all kinds of stuff, and this is what I've been doing to learn FPV. And then when the weather's nice, I take a little bigger drone outside, which is I've been using this one, which is the Beta FPV 85X, and this one has a HD camera on it too, and a little micro SD card in it, and record. And even though it's still a whoop, and it's still got the protectors, and I'm coming along, and I have a different philosophy. I think I always have had in flying these things, and I may not become a but I may not become a whiz at this thing overnight. But I'm a little older, and I approach it to see if I can learn it without actually destroying them, crashing them all over the place. And I get that I call it a protocol from flying the model airplanes that were very expensive and took a long time to build. So when you flew them, you wanted to make sure you were very careful, and you didn't do things that were going to break them. And I'm kind of trying to take the same approach with the drones, and flying around inside the house like this with this little thing has really been what I would recommend is the way to go, because you really have to be on that throttle, your altitude control, and not banging into the ceiling all the time or the floor it makes you fly a little tighter. And another thing is that you push the stick forward. Now I'm flying in the stabilized mode, in the angle mode, which is really what you want to do inside the house. You don't want to really fly in the acro mode, because it's all over the place. And maybe when I get to be a Mr. Steel, if I should live that long, I would. But from what I've seen, they recommend indoors using the stabilized mode, outdoors using the acro mode, and that's what I've been doing. But well, and this is an earlier flight too, and there are times when you do want to go up and down. Here's where I decided that I was going to try to land on the table here, right where I took off, and I did, and then it flipped over. But what happens is you fly it, and you don't have any battery information in the goggles. There's no telemetry, so you don't know when the battery's running, and then all of a sudden you're pushing up on the throttle, and then the drone's just not going anywhere. But what I'm it won't be long now before if you come back in 2 weeks and look at the latest ones of these, you'll see me. I'll probably be flying under chair legs and doing orbits around the bedposts, and it's amazing the skills that you can develop with this little thing, and without worrying about having to break something. Because even if you run it into something, it's not going to hurt it. It's very light, and it's not going to break. It's not going to break the drone. And it's just kind of fun to sit out there in the other room and just fly it all over the house, in and out of the rooms, and oh yeah, you're constantly on the throttle, and like right here, I want to fly between me and the lamp, make sure I go over the kitchen counter. Then I might go down a little bit, and because it's fun to fly down low to the floor. It makes you feel like you're going fast. No. See, that's the nice thing. They're analog. They're not digital, and there's just a few milliseconds of latency. Nothing like with a digital signal. It's boy, here I am banging all over the place on this one. But it was a lot of fun. And what I'm finding now is I'm starting to go faster, and I'm starting to drive the drone where I want it to go. Like the guys when they race, they punch through the gates. You know, you see it, you're lined up, and you just punch it. And I'm starting to do that with some of the doorways and things. And it's a level of confidence in pushing it and driving it where you want it to go that doesn't take a whole long time to develop. And it's I would recommend this to anybody that wants to learn. This is not expensive, and well, you can buy a Tyrannus QX7 for $110. You can buy this drone for $50, and the goggles that I have, which work great, are about 170, and they're the box goggles that and they really work good. Especially for me, I can put on the reading glasses that I had made for my DJI goggles, and it's sharp as a tack. And this was actually recorded on the DVR in the goggles, these videos. Now, so as not to bore you guys with all, I'm going to want to fast forward here a little bit. And here's a later flight here, and you'll see that I'm starting to really push it some more. And start racing around the house a little faster than I was. So you notice that that in this flight here, I'm punching around. I'm just moving a lot. Boom! Right into the gate. Yeah. Now, one of the things about this little brushless swoop here, a brushed swoop. It's got brushed motors in it, and the props don't screw on. They're like a tello. They push down, and they get loose, and they come off. And trying to search the house for one of these little propellers that went flying off is a pain. So I watched a couple of YouTube videos to find out how do you fix that. And they say that you get a little bit of super glue and these micro drills, and you take and you put a little super glue in the hole of the prop with a pin, and then when it dries, you take these little micro drills, maybe a little bit smaller than the actual shaft, and drill the super glue, and then push it on there, and it stays. So I got the little drill set coming tomorrow. Now this. No, not a Dremel. No, they're tiny. They're half a millimeter drills. They're just like hair. They're just tiny little drills, and they have these little anvils that you get with them that you screw them in, and you just run them in your fingers. Now this here was the 85X. I was outside. This was one of the first flights where I actually flew it around outside, and you can see that. The goggles view is, and I was flying in this case. I was flying in a stabilized mode. At this point I was still working up the guts to throw it into acro mode, but you can see that the quality of the high definition picture is terrific on this. Not bad at all. It's 1080, 60 frames a second. It shoots, and. It was a lot. It was to fly what? Oh yeah, I have two of them. I have two of them ready to fly. I've flown them. I have flown them, and I do fly them every once in a while, line of sight, like I'd fly an RC airplane. I can fly. Yeah, you know, I thought about that too. That's. Have you done that? Have you done that with the Loctite? It's not. It's too small. I mean, you're talking about a spindle that's like eight tenths of a millimeter. It's yeah, they're tiny little motors. So anyway, so here I was flying around my house with trying to not hit trees and everything, and it's for me. It's all about getting used to the visual cues from the goggles. That's the hardest part for me, and getting used to flying that point of view. And I'll show you. I may go up a little further here.
Boy, the film looks a lot better than the display.
Well, yeah, it does. Now this was shot at my model airplane flying field, and this is again with that little 85X, and that thing moves along pretty good when you stick the nose down. And what I did here was I flew around just a little bit in the
That's a heck of an open area. Boy,
oh yeah, that's out by the dump up there.
That's huge.
Near Cocoa. Yeah, it's a big field. A lot of guys, we used to fly jets out there and everything. Whiz Bang, how are you, my friend? Whiz Bang says, thanks for getting me dizzy watching. Hey, if I can't get you dizzy, who can?
Now, you used to do the helicopters too, right, Mitch?
Oh, yeah. Now, right there, you'll see when it dips down, I switched it into acro mode. So the rest of this flight, I'm actually flying around in acro mode, and
that'll do what?
Well, you can do anything.
Do the flips?
Yeah, it's no stabilization whatsoever. You push the nose down, it stays down till you level it off. You put it in a bank, it stays there, just like flying an airplane. But I found that I really felt at home flying in this mode, because when you banked it, it tilted like an airplane does. So this is more true FPV, and I really enjoyed flying it like this, and this is from here on out. This is how I'm going to be flying outside, and this is of course how I'm going to fly the 5-inch drones. And I've been doing the simulator too.
Well, that sun didn't blind it or anything.
No, that camera's terrific. That's
look at that.
Say, that handled the sun really well.
That's a CAD-X Turtle V2 camera that comes in this little drone. It comes that way. It's the Beta FPV 85X HD, and it's not.
And that's
cheap.
a $50?
No, that's
okay.
a 200. That's about $200 for this thing. It's not cheap. When you think about it, you can almost buy a Spark for a little bit more, but you reach a point where for $200 you get a basic drone, and this thing had the HD camera. That camera by itself is about $65. If you just bought the camera that comes with the DVR in it to record, that's about $65. It's also got all brushless motors, and the latest controller board and what they call smart audio, so you can change the transmitter settings, the video transmitter settings from your transmitter itself without having to go to the drone and push buttons. You can change channels, output power, and all that. So it's pretty neat. It does what most of the bigger drones do. Whiz Bang, he said something to me earlier.
Mars says use the Loctite for the metal threads only.
The metal threads, yeah. I do that on the drone that I built here, the 5-inch racing drone that I built on one of the live streams. I use Loctite, and I noticed that a lot of the guys that are building these things, the big name guys that are doing these build videos, aren't talking about Loctite. And I mean, we would never build an RC helicopter without using Loctite. Of course, the vibrations and everything. Next thing you know,
I was going to say
rotors are flying off in the air. But this was fun. I hope I'm not boring you with all my flying videos, but we are.
No, but you got an area where you have room to grow and room to try out that acro mode and all that other stuff.
Now this here turns us right next door to where I live, and I was telling you about this, Jim. This is an industrial park with no tenants. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and this is a fabulous place to fly. I mean, you got all kinds of things to whip around and trees to fly through, and a lot of visual reference. And I found that you're out there flying over big open fields, it makes it harder because you don't. It's easier for. I found it was easier for me to fly in the house, even though it was tight. I had things to show me exactly where I was. Whereas when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't know where you are. And on this particular site here, you have all kinds of stripes and asphalt lines and tree lines and building lines. And
is that a 2S battery, Mitch?
this one is a 3S. This is 3S
okay.
on the on this little 85X, and it gets up and goes pretty good. But next time I go out there, I may take one of the 5 inches. I think I'm probably ready to start flying the 5-inch drone and fly it conservatively. The only thing that I just hope I don't end up on a roof out there, because then we're going to have to get the Mavic Pro and some coat hangers.
Yeah, yeah, and a bungee cord. Yeah,
and bungee cords, and try to go up there and get it.
Hey, listen, I've been there with the Inspire 1. That damn thing. It got windy on me, so I sat over top a tree one time. The Sonics underneath thought it was the ground and lowered the landing gear
Oh, no kidding.
right into the palm tree, all by itself. No help from me.
Thanks, DJ. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Back from the sky. How long does it fly on the 3S? About 5 minutes. And I imagine that it depends on how hard you fly it. It's just a small little thing. I think they're about 2-inch propellers. Here, I'll hold it up here again. It's this drone here, if you can see it. And I did stick a label on top with my phone number on it. It says, if you find this, call me.
Any roofer who finds it.
Yeah, but it's lighter than 250 grams, so it doesn't need to be registered, which is another nice thing about these little tiny ones. I don't know if I said hi to Tim Robinson. I
yeah.
saw you in there. How you doing, my friend? Good to
Hello,
see you.
Tim.
Nordic Blue RC. Well, Nordic Blue RC is the only one that's not blue. So
He says not flying acro, right?
no,
What
and
is
this one I was I was just in the regular stabilizer. It was the first time I flew on that at that particular site, and
This is your blue, the blue one.
This is the blue one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Nordic Blue, we gave you a blue wrench, so you are.
Hey, Furball Kim's in here.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
Hey, Kim.
Who's flying? Mitch is flying. The old guy's flying. Kim.
Oh, the Canadians are showing up
This
now.
is me. Yeah. Is Roger here too?
Mike said that.
Right. Paul Murray's here.
I don't want anybody mad at me. Mike said that.
Paul Murray. Paul's in the house.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep,
Paul,
he's
how
there.
are you? Good to see him. Good to see you. How about that?
Oh, you just missed the top of that palm tree.
Oh, I did that on purpose. And,
Uh-huh.
And anybody that disagrees,
Me too, right, Mike?
sorry. Yes, sir. Actually,
Mitch's show.
if you remember, and here I actually landed it somewhere near me. See that? and that was that. But at any rate, yeah, Kim, you missed the.
Well, that's a great location.
Yeah, that's a
Good,
super location there. Here,
Yeah.
let me go back to some of the.
This happens all over the place in Florida. They'll build and hope somebody will come and rent it.
Yeah. And Kim, this is me flying. You weren't here when I was showing this. This is me flying my my little whoop around inside my house, the little M80, and that was boom, right into the mirror. But I'm having fun with this. I'm having a good old time with it.
I found a place right down the road from me. They're going to be putting in 500 acres of solar fields.
Solar fields. Is that in that new area that where we were flying?
No, it's south of that, more towards the county line, Indian River County line.
I made Kim a moderator. Who else is white? Nordic Blue made him a moderator. Well, we'll have to see. Oh, Furball, Kim, how come you keep coming up white? Because it says remove moderator when I click on you. Oh, it's one of those technically challenged evenings, guys. Back from the sky. Yeah, that little M80 when you throw that into acro mode and push forward on that stick, it's almost too fast to fly in the house at my level of flying. And Kim, I don't know what the hell's going on with you. I keep making you a moderator, so I'm going to remove you as a moderator, and then I'm going to make you a moderator again, and maybe you'll turn blue this time.
Nordic Blues.
And Nordic Blue, I made him a moderator
Right.
too. We'll try that again. Okay, all right, guys. I don't know. Blame YouTube because I'm doing it. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
Kim's blue now.
Is he?
Where did
okay.
you pick up? Where did you pick up your Beta 85 HD?
I got
Mitch?
that from Race Day Quads in Orlando. Have you ever heard of Race Day Quads?
No.
Or did I get that one from Amazon? I got one of them from Amazon and one of them from Race Day Quads, which is a big wholesale company right in Orlando, and they basically have everything. It's a terrific place. Race Day Quads, and from right over here, you can have them ship it to you, or you can go over there to their warehouse and pick it up. But they have no sales office that you can go to. They just have a shipping place. And
Have you been in these hobby shops on 192, Mitch?
Yeah, they're terrible. You talking about the one right there, 192 and I-95?
Yeah, that big one.
Yeah, they don't have anything. They have a lot of the Horizon hobby stuff, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's about it. Design and more. Welcome. How are you?
I started out as a kid with those SD rocket builds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to love that as a kid. Use the inner ring from the toilet paper. What do you call that? That cardboard ring.
Yeah.
Start building your own. Build your own rockets. Buy the engines. Even though they had parachutes, they'd go up and you'd never see them again. You know.
When I was a kid, God, it's amazing we didn't blow ourselves up or kill ourselves when we were kids. When I was a kid in Philadelphia, we made rockets.
Yeah.
But what we did was we took 3/4-inch copper pipe, like plumbing pipe, a section of it about a foot long, and we cut it off, and then
Doesn't that sound like a pipe bomb already?
Wait a minute. then we took and plugged a wooden dowel in the top of it, and drove a nail through it,
Jesus.
sideways to hold it. Then we took.
Getting safer all the time.
Then we took another wooden dowel in the and drilled a hole for a fuse through it. And we took balsa wood and we made fins and we glued them on the side to hold it straight up. And and then we went and we got books of matches and we cut the match heads off the matches.
Oh,
and we
God.
ended up with buckets of these match heads, and we filled this thing with match heads. We'd fill the rocket up with match heads. We'd pound the wooden dowel in the bottom. Stick a JetX, remember JetX fuses? Yeah, we stick a JetX fuse in there and run like hell. And when it went off, it was like a gunshot, you know. But
you had the battery that with the electric wires that would heat up.
Yeah, we did that, or we light it. We put a long fuse on, light it with a match, and run like hell. But when that thing went off, it blew the bottom. The explosion blew the bottom dowel out of it, and that thing went up about 1,000 feet, and it was heavy. So if it came down on top of somebody, it would have killed them. But we were kids. What do we? That's what we had. We had to make our own toys. We didn't have all the, when I was a kid. How did it go, Mike? I walked 5 miles to school barefoot in the snow, uphill both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Funny part is,
days,
you did.
Yeah.
We had our own.
When I was your age, we didn't have
man.
phones.
Oh yeah. So that's what we did. It was it was something. Did you see what I saw a YouTube video? Where did I see this? Oh, it wasn't a YouTube video. It was a guy was selling a fan. I don't need one. I don't want one, but I'm still, for some reason, find myself looking at the different forum classifieds for the Phantom 4 V2. Because it just seems like all the cool kids have the Phantom 4 V2, and if you don't have a Phantom 4 V2, you're just not a cool kid. So. And I have no use for the thing. I have 2 drones. I fly them, but I'm not crazy about. I don't fly them 3 times every day. I don't fly like Mike does up in Philly, and they do everything. And they do everything I need them to do.
I can't remember the last time I've flown my Phantom 4. I just can't.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been looking at these classified ads, and this one guy's running a classified ad. And he's selling his Phantom 4 because he said he bought it for a particular purpose, and that was to find a rocket that they lost out in Arizona somewhere. Some rocket that went up to 50,000 feet. I mean, I'm talking 20, 30 foot tall, real. They had FAA clearances to shoot this thing, and something happened, the telemetry didn't work, and they took their eyes off it, and they didn't know where it was. So they bought the drone to try to find it, and he put it in this classified ad, and it's in the Phantom Pilots forum. If anybody's interested. And he has a short video of them launching this friggin' rocket. And it looks like Cape Canaveral. I can't believe they lost it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with that Phantom 4, the version 2.0 there, that they're not making anymore, right? That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and what is that? Is that you, Jim?
Yeah, but I don't know how to shut off my volume.
What is it, a phone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
no big deal. Just wanted to make sure. I just wondered where it was coming from.
Yeah, I know there's all kinds of speculation, and nobody knows what DJI is going to do. In terms of, is there going to be a Phantom 5, or is there parts problems with the Phantom 4, why they're not making them currently? You hear all these stories, and you just don't know what to think. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Thank God right now, if you want to buy a terrific drone, the Mavic 2 series is out there everywhere, and you can still get it. And, it does almost as good a video as that Phantom, and the thing is a terrific bird.
I love it.
Yeah, and I got the smart controller.
I saw that. How do you like that thing?
And I did the update that just came out on the smart controller, where now that you can have the smart controller connected to several different drones at the same time. Not running at the same time, but there's a menu that will show your drone, mics 1, mics 2, mics 3. You switch over without binding again or anything. It's pretty cool. So it's making me want to sell my old Mavic Pro original one and maybe just pick up another Mavic 2 Pro just for the heck of it.
Did you just, I don't mean to interrupt you, Mike, but did you just read Spike? Hiya, Spike. How are you? I'm going to give you
Spike.
Crikey.
So that will automatically connect with your other drones?
Read Spike's post. Read Spike's post. Good day, Mitch, and everyone in the chat. I'm so sad right now because I have just accidentally erased all my computer files. Everything. Videos,
my
music,
God.
documents, photos. Lost the lot.
Holy cow.
Holy cow. Spike.
Oh man.
All my computer files, everything.
Oh, my God. Man,
10 years.
and no backup, no cloud backups.
You know, Mitch, I have these stand-up Western Digital external drives, and I can't tell you how many times I've backed up everything to them, and if they fall down, if they even go like this, boom, the drive's
Yeah,
shot.
you got to be careful with those things, especially if they're running. If they're not running, you can play football with them. But if they're running, if a drive is running, you get a head crash when you jolt it like that. Well, I can't even imagine. Well, of course, I'm an old technical. In the computer business for a long time, and I've heard, they used to come crying through the front door, help me, and it makes you paranoid. So I have cloud accounts and backups of backups of backups of backups, and there's still every once in a while something that gets lost and I can't find it, and I start looking for an old file and I can't find it. But Spike, man, that is.
Well, I hope you can recover it somehow, Spike. Get an expert or something.
If you just did you. When you format or erase files, it does not physically get rid of the data. It just changes the pointers that point to where that file is. And there are file recovery programs, but it all depends on what you did and how you ended up deleting it. And there's probably a way, if you don't screw with that drive, don't be doing things on it. In other words, just stop with that and get some professional help and see if you can't recover some of that stuff, because
Yeah, because Spike puts a lot into his videos. You could, when he shoots, he's setting up shots and reshooting them from a different angle and all kinds of stuff. He really puts his heart into it.
Time consuming, yeah.
Wow, that's like losing one of your kids. God, I can't. I've had lost stuff on computers in the past, and I know what that's like. And
now I saw a video where that if you're getting the clicking noise, you can save the drive, and I've been through that, but mine that's never been the problem. It's the little needles inside.
The heads, the heads that read, yeah.
The readers.
Well, I find I don't know if they're more reliable, the solid state drives, but for my primary drives in my computers, I use the SSD, the solid state drives, and even in the computer that I'm running this on, the editing stuff, I have a scratch, 500 gig scratch SSD in there that I edit off of. So the primary drive's an SSD, the scratch editing drive is an SSD where I'm storing all the files, and I only use the actual regular spinning hard drives, both in the computer and externally, to store stuff.
Are you using those in a case so you have a fan on them?
No, I have what you're talking about. I have some of the Western Digital portables, the little 3-inch,
right,
that you just plug in. I have a couple of them, and I move them around, and then I have a 3 of the 10 terabyte Western Digital that look like a book. My books, and
yeah, they're called My Book.
Yeah, and I have three 10 terabytes of those, and keep multiple copies across devices, and I keep 2 of those 3 unplugged when I'm not reading or writing to them, so they're not running. So
that's what a professional does.
And they're cheap. They're a little over $100 a piece for $119 for a 10 terabyte drive. So once every week or once every 2 weeks, I'll update the files to the latest files on those drives, plug them in, copy everything to them, and then unplug them from everything. Unplug them from the computer, unplug them from the power, just leave them sit there. So the only thing that could hurt them is if the roof falls in on them, which might happen in a hurricane.
Over 10 years of files. Sorry to put a downer out there.
No.
Jesus.
Wow.
And who do you get mad at? I mean,
Well, you get mad at yourself. You get mad at yourself for not doing backups.
Well, see, we don't know what he used. So, what would he try for file recovery, Mitch?
Well, it's hard to say, and what kind of drive. Let me say goodbye to Furball, and thanks for coming in. And if you're going over to Centroid, tell Mark I said hello, and tell him to stop coming on when I'm on.
See you later, Kim.
We may have to arrange for him to get a visit. You know what I mean? Mike, you're up there near him, aren't you?
Yeah, he's just a few miles away.
You know anybody up there?
That flies?
No, that collects. Big guys with ugly big guys
that breaks bones.
That you know what I'm talking about. That pay visits. That kind of guy.
The money
collectors. You're not for me. I mean, we're just talking hypothetically. You are into The Godfather the Sopranos after all.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed something, Mike, but are you a big Sopranos fan? Did you watch all their?
Yeah,
Did you watch all their stuff?
I have the DVDs of all the seasons.
Okay, well I'm gonna show you my claim to fame here. Okay, I mean, and I'm gonna go back to the flying window here, and with me flying around my house, and I'm gonna hold on a second here. And
I want to see what he's got.
Yeah, hang on. I just want you to come on, turn around, drone. No, I'm stuck up against the mirror there, but turn around. Okay, right there. Missed it. Right here, Mike. You focus on that right there, on the bed. And take note of the bedspread. Of the comforter. Of the comforter and the pillows and that is the Sopranos bed.
Really?
Yeah. Exactly the same, right down to the pillow shams and everything. I mean, it is, and it is, and I had it before I saw. I noticed it, and when I got divorced. In 2004 and left all the furniture. I had to go buy furniture. So I went and I just started answering ads on Craigslist and everything. And this guy had this oak bedroom set with the 4-poster bed and all the furniture and everything. It was gorgeous. It was a big, beautiful piece of furniture. And he had this bedspread, and I got him to throw it in. So I didn't actually buy this thing or pick it out. So here I got this, and it had matching curtains and matching sheets and matching. I mean, it was, and come to find out that comforter and set cost about $2,000.
Are you kidding?
It's big time bedding, and I mean, it's like 20 years old today, and it's still hanging in there, and it's all like silk brocade, and it's made out of it. It's amazing stuff, and I got it for nothing, thrown in with the bed.
Egyptian cotton.
Whatever it is, watch season 1 or 2 or 3 of The Sopranos and look at the bed, and that's it, man. So
your headboard almost looks like theirs too, Mitch. If you remember, they had the big half circle headboard.
Yeah.
On their bed, and I remember that distinctly. But it's been a while since I've watched the Sopranos. I'll be come wintertime. I'll be watching them again. Yeah, it's for those out there who've never seen the show, it's kind of hard to relate how good that show was.
Oh,
and,
that was,
it hit the nail on the head in terms of northern New Jersey, mobbed up, types.
Oh yeah, and one of the things that was the most poignant part of the show was the contrast between Tony the family man and how with the wife and the kids and the problems of raising kids and the other side of him, this cold-hearted sociopath of a mobster that had no conscience, and yet he was capable of tremendous humanity when it came, and they're like that when it comes to their families. These people they would, anybody ever did to their families what they did to other people, it'd be World War III. But they really pulled it off in that show. I thought that was, and then poor what's his name had to die right after.
Pussy?
No.
Oh no. I mean the character.
Yeah, Anthony. What was his name? God.
No, James Gandolfini.
Gandolfini. Yeah, he died. Made all that money and retired and had it set for life, and boom, shows you, Mike, doesn't it? You gotta count your blessings, man. When you got.
What did he have? A heart attack?
I think so.
Something like that.
He was like
there was
59, I think.
Jesus.
I think he was 59 years old. Thank you, Paul Murray, for reminding everybody. Back from the Sky is leaving. Good night. Thanks for coming. And Spike said he was in the process of backing up, and the darn program. So here you go to back up, and so you don't have problems, and the backup causes you the problem. Boy, that's. And the time machine did recognize the new hard drive. I thought it was erasing only one of the partitions, but hit the entire drive. Okay, what else did you say? That I just moved all my files onto got erased. Okay, you basically can recover a drive like that, Spike. Because the only thing that you changed when you did what you did, I think, was the pointer to the partition itself. I think that all the rest of what's on that drive is still there. And partitions, if you accidentally departition something or repartition it wrong, that if you don't do anything else after that, those are the easiest things to recover of any of the things you can do to a hard drive, because the partition information is just a couple of bytes of information in one little place on the hard drive, and somebody who has the right software or know what they're doing can go in there right to that location and find out where the and point to the partition again if they're good. So there is a chance you might be able to get all that stuff back. Don't want to get your hopes up, but if you've deleted a partition, that's probably the most recoverable of those things, I think. I don't play at that level myself.
Even if he formatted the partition?
No, well, formatting is there's a number of things called quick formats, which just change pointers to files, and then there are the thorough scanning type formats, which basically rewrite data at every byte of the drive and test to make sure it writes correctly. Yeah, those are destructive. Once you do that, you're done. But if you do these, just change a partition pointer, delete a partition, or delete a file and don't overwrite the contents of that file with something else, chances are those kind of things can be recovered by somebody who knows what they're doing. And there's some software programs that they sell out there that lead you to believe that anybody who's not technical could do it, that the program does it all automatically. But I'm afraid I think that they may actually cause more problems than they solve, those kind of things. So, but wow, that blows me away, Spike.
Well, you don't know one that a program he could buy to do that, or?
I dealt with stuff like that 15 years ago.
Right.
Back in 2005 is when I got out of that business, and nothing's the same. The basics are the same, but that was almost 15 years ago, and we used to use Acronis, and there was a couple of programs that my techs used, but even those now, I mean, the basic partitioning hasn't changed. the difference in formatting from FAT32 to extended FAT30. Those things that allow for bigger files have changed, but the basic way that drives are partitioned goes way back to the old, IBM PC days with MS-DOS, and that pretty much stays the same. They've added a lot. They've added a lot to it. No, Spike. No fresh. You don't have to start over. You'll be able to. I think if you find a professional. Now I don't know how many professionals they got out there in the Western Australia where you live, but you may have to get on the phone. But I wouldn't give up. I would. The right guy could probably fix that thing in a very short period of time for you and recover all that stuff. So. Best not to fool with it. It's best not to fool with it or touch it at this point.
Like where Spike lives, he might have to send it to someone else, the drive.
He might.
And then hopefully get it done and then sent back.
Yeah, and I hope you still have some stuff on your SD cards laying here and there. You may still have some of your stuff there. I know your music collection was downloaded. You can re-download that, but and I know you can download all your YouTube videos that you uploaded. You can bring them back down.
Yeah.
Where did Tim go? I mean,
he might have blocked
Jim.
his camera for a minute.
Oh, okay. Jim, you still there? Or are you gone? Hey, Mike, I see you in the picture now.
Right.
Hold on a minute. Now that he's gone, hang on. I got you up in the corner on this one. There you are.
I still see his icon.
I do too, but now you're in the picture. So how does that work? Hold on a minute here. Let me see what I got going on here. So let's try to see if I can actually, while he's gone, if I can bring you in. Yes, look at that, Mike Roche. There you are. All right, hang on a second, and I will get you bigger. There you are, and there you are, Mike. Welcome, Mike Roche. Hey, hold on, here we go.
Hey guys. I am here in the flesh. I just, kind of like doing old time radio.
Yeah, I hope everybody heard you before. I don't know why they would have heard you, but they did, evidently.
Yeah, there I am.
And I don't know what happened to Jim.
Well, his window is still there now.
Yeah, I see his. Well, now he's back. Hey, I got you both now. I can't believe it. Whatever you did, Jim, when you went away, I was able to get Mike Roche in.
All I did was turn off the video and mute the mic, and Mike came up.
Yeah, and now I got you both.
Because had the whole time I've had him.
Yeah, we've had him in our window, but bringing him into for some reason OBS couldn't differentiate the two different streams. It kept showing me just yours, but as soon as yours went away, Mike's came up, and I figured, well, as soon as I put you back, Mike will go away. But damn, if it's working now, so I don't ask why in some cases.
That's all the time we have, folks.
Yeah.
And,
hey, that's the nice thing about YouTube. We got all the time. We got all the time we want. The people.
The hell with Ken here, and I don't need him. I got bitch.
Want to stick with us, then
that would be funny as hell, Mike.
Now,
that'd be perfect.
Now, do I dare now try to put you in that other? Hold on a second here. I hope I don't screw this up here, but let's see. Hold on a second. Mike,
I thought you were a pro with this computer stuff.
I am pretty good with it, but this is, it's supposed to work some way, and it did work some way, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. So, all right. So now
I don't know, Mike.
All right. Okay, that worked. Now I got you both in little windows, and I can actually show something, and I wonder if I can actually find it. Hang on a second here.
Hey, Jim, can you put a type of 1 in the chat or something? I want to make sure I've got you.
It says I have to sign in to chat.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just you're James Boyd.
Yeah.
Above
Okay.
above and beyond global drones is his YouTube name.
I had to change that name because there's a band named Above and Beyond, and then I don't show up at all in YouTube searches.
Right.
So I had to
Yeah.
add global drones onto it, which I really hate.
Right. Makes it a
Plus,
long one to type
when you
out.
got to type
Yeah.
out. Hey,
When I'm on
Thomas
my-
O'Sullivan, how are you? Thomas, good to see you. Thanks for
I
coming
do
in.
have you then, James. I do have you.
Is
Yeah, I
that
think everybody's
that's
got
Tomas,
James.
right? Tomas O'Sullivan?
I don't know how you pronounce it. Tomas?
Well,
Thomas?
he's in Ireland, so I don't know. I'm thinking Thomas.
Probably Thomas.
I'm not seeing an H.
I think it's the way he spells it, or just for Facebook or YouTube.
Let's blame
whatever.
him.
But
I forgot, but I could have done this over here. See, you'll see it when you see the stream come up. I could have actually taken my Skype window and stuck it into one of the monitors and brought that in and got you in that way. You'll see it when it comes up in a second. I'm looking at the stream; it's still lagging. But
I'll like share the screen.
well, no, yeah, because I have a monitor to my right that I use when I'm gonna. Boy, the stream has really got a delay. There it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's right
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, see what I did? I took my Skype window and stuck it on that screen where I used to play the videos I'm showing, and switched over to that, and now I got you up there 4 times. See, I got you.
What is NDI? Am I an idiot? What is NDI?
NDI is a networking protocol, and it's something digital interface. It's a type of communication protocol that allows one program or device to communicate with another. And NDI is a protocol. I never even heard of it before I started fooling with this Skype stuff, but evidently it's something used in broadcasting to let one device transfer audio and video to another. And that's the protocol that Skype outputs. And OBS allows you to input that NDI source and assign it to a window. So if we had a third person in this conversation, I could actually open up yet another window and go in and put them in a third window and a fourth window, and God knows how many windows. I had never. I don't know how many you can do. I just. I know that with Hangouts you can do maybe up to 10 or 12 people, but none of that is happening on your computer. It's all happening at the Google level, and you've only got one stream there. I need a drink. I need a little drink here. Getting dry.
So it is Thomas. It's just the Irish way of spelling Thomas. Says Thomas O'Sullivan.
right. Yeah.
Okay, well, he ought to know.
Right?
He ought to know.
Tim Robinson says it's Skype, but there is one heck of a delay between Skype and YouTube.
No, it's not the delay. The delay is not between Skype and YouTube. The delay is between my live stream, OBS, and when it finally gets around to YouTube. YouTube must be very busy tonight. Sometimes the delay is 5 seconds. Sometimes it's 30 seconds. Sometimes it's really long. I'm sending it to YouTube, and they're getting it, and their delay is.
Yeah, YouTube's been getting weird lately with the technical end of things, like with chats there. The audio has been messed up on a lot of people's channel. Somebody will come in, and then all of a sudden people can't hear each other. They've got to go out and come back in.
Yeah, you have that problem.
Each time.
Yeah, Mike, and it signed me out of YouTube. I had to sign back in to chat. I don't know why. And then why are you always in top chat and you have to go click on live chat?
They default to top chat, I think, because they consider it maybe safer because there's a little bit of filtering that goes in, I think, in top chat. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but other than that, I don't see any difference. the way mine runs, it's still the newest messages are at the bottom. I don't know if there's a setting to change that or not, but
Do you prefer the this Skype over the Hangouts?
well, I do, because with Hangouts, I can't create a scene like I created, where I'm sitting off on one side next to, in front of my green screen with whatever background that I want, and I can put you guys in a window and make you any size and put you anywhere I want on the screen. You know what I mean?
So basically, you couldn't use your OBS features.
I can use OBS to send its output to Google Hangouts as my camera, for example, virtual camera. And what that means is that what you see on your YouTube stream, the final output from OBS with whatever I have set up, would be what Google Hangouts was using as its camera input. So when somebody who has OBS goes on to somebody else's live chat in Hangouts, when you see them, I mean, you see Mark at Centroid do this all the time, and Lloyd Mendenhall does it all the time. You'll see all their fancy stuff and graphics and everything, where everybody else, you just see the room they're sitting in, because they're using their either their OBS or any other software that they use to broadcast software, as what they call a virtual camera. And there's a plug-in in OBS called OBS Virtual Camera that creates it. So when and Skype doesn't accept that, but Google Hangouts does. So when I go into Google Hangouts, just like you set up Skype, you set up your microphone, and it asks you what's your camera, what's your microphone. And one of the settings for your camera is OBS Virtual Camera. And you click on that, and then the output of OBS becomes the virtual camera. For example, if I go here, let me check this out. This is either going to blow everything up, or it's either going to blow everything up, or it's not. But my virtual camera is running. What was that noise? What was that noise? Was that you?
That wasn't me.
This noise is
Yes.
significant. It's a water softening system.
Oh, okay. I thought it was one of those. And anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go over to this other window here, just for the fun. We're going to experiment, turn this into Technical Tuesday here. So let me find my Hangouts here, my Google Hangouts, just for fun, okay? And I'm going to bring that over here to this screen. It says, "Hello, old guy." Okay. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. So I've got, and I go into settings here. Settings, and where is the settings? I'm in there. Okay. And where do I tell it where the camera is? Or do I have to go video call first?
Now, what program is that you're showing us?
Hold on a second. This is, whoa, what the hell am I doing here? Here we go. Okay, so.
Oh, that's Hangouts.
Yeah, so what happened, what I'm showing you here, is that I opened a Hangouts window, and as you can see, the output of my OBS is the camera. You see that?
Yeah.
And what it's doing is it's looking at itself, so it goes off down to infinity. But
right.
If I make a change in scene, I can't do that. But if I were to move another window, for example, over in front of it, you'll see.
Logitech does that too when you hit on the display to share the display. How do you make it just one screen instead of like this?
Well, what it's doing right now is it's a mirror in a mirror in a mirror in a mirror off to infinity. That you don't stop that.
Damn, I get better looking.
That's because it's looking. That's because it's looking. It's looking at it. It's looking at itself. And
Mitch
like
didn't catch
Stan-
that, Mike.
Stanley
I caught
Cooper
it.
movie.
I
Yeah.
caught it. Yeah, but what happens is whatever change that I make in OBS
Jesus.
goes to Google as me. In other words, anybody that's in a Hangouts with me is going to see that. It's going to see the output of my OBS setup, and that's
Spike wants to know where Spank is.
oh, you're right, Spank. You know who Spank is, don't you, Jim?
Oh, I do, yeah.
Spank the monkey. Yes.
Something every teenager learns.
Yes. Well, we can we can do that.
Oh, sure. Now you can do that, right?
Where is he? Hold on.
Couldn't bring Mike in, but you can bring the darn
Bring the
monkey in.
Monkey.
I think I can. I think I can bring the monkey in.
Bonzo can come in.
Yeah, but not us. Okay,
There
I
he
hear
is.
you.
There he is. He's behind me. There he is.
I see. We see where you're coming from.
He's over there behind me over next to the tree there. I can.
Yeah,
can,
you got to wait about 20 seconds for him to show up on the screen.
Yeah, I can move him. I can move him.
Yeah, if the delay is that long.
I can move him
Yeah.
over there. Yeah, there he is. All right, there's the monkey. You know, I forgot it. It's kind of a thing that I have here.
Now,
It's just not the same without the monkey. How we doing?
now is that's a third overlay, isn't it?
Oh, you can bring in more stuff. You can do anything with this with OBS. I mean, it's incredible what you can do. That is. I mean, if
Now this is straight OBS and not the
not the Streamlabs,
Streamlabs.
not the Streamlabs, just the straight OBS.
So for us ignorance, what is the difference with Streamlabs?
Streamlabs, OBS is open source, which means anybody can take their source code and use it for any reason they want and modify it and repackage it and sell it. Streamlabs has added a ton of gamer style bells and whistles for people who live stream games. Or YouTube live streams where they want bells going off every time somebody subscribes and donations flying across the top and chat and all kinds of fancier graphics where OBS is I hate to say it's bare bones because it's not, but it seems to be not designed to have all those fancy graphic bells and whistles to interact for live streams like you might do on Twitch or on YouTube. I wanted to show you something that. Hang on a second here. Where
Drone Shot says like Star Wars stormtroopers.
is? Yeah, they have all kinds of
Background transitions or something? Or
yeah,
green screen backgrounds you're talking about?
have you watched Mike's live stream with the DU recorder?
Yeah.
Where if
So they
somebody
might-
makes a donation, it goes ka-ching and scrolls, that kind of stuff.
Right.
All kinds of ways to do that in addition to just the basic stream. And
I thought if that was just coming from DU recorder.
well,
No?
it is, but that's the kind of effects that Streamlabs
okay.
has added
Okay.
to the basic OBS software. So they've taken the basic OBS software and turned it into something that has just a ton more bells and whistles, which I personally don't need. I like the way that OBS works. I'm sitting here trying to do something here while we're talking, and
So
I can't
if,
walk and chew gum at the same time.
if you were monetized and somebody gave you a super chat, you could set it up where that would scroll across the screen
Scroll
or something
across
like
the top.
that?
Yeah, well, I think that that's a function of YouTube live streams anyway. I think that does it. That does it by itself anyway.
Well, that
Right.
goes to the top of the chat, but
Right.
like you're saying, when Mikey is flying in Philly, when someone comments, it comes on in the middle of the screen.
Right, because he set it up that way. He has like
Right.
He has like widgets.
Now, but those widgets are through DU Recorder?
Yeah, those widgets are part of DU
Okay.
Recorder. Yeah,
Okay.
and DU Recorder has, that's a pretty complicated little piece of software. And I was going to show you some of the things you can do with this, but with all the Skype windows open, it's a little tricky. I was going to try to put some fire behind me for you to show
See if you can do it.
Yeah, I can do that, but I have to find the
When I started off, that's why I originally bought the NVIDIA K1, was so that it could do screen capture while flying. It had the power to do that, graphic-wise. And then the one thing you have to remember about the NVIDIA K1 is don't upgrade the operating system. Leave it at 5.1.
Really?
Oh yeah, the minute you upgrade to 7, you start getting green screen across your video signal. So leave it at 5.1. In fact, when you and I have the Crystal Sky, that is what DJI is using, is 5.1.
Yeah, and it works.
Android.
And you know what? Boy, I'll tell you, there really is a lag on the stream because there it goes. I put fire up there. Now you see.
Oh yeah, now I got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's hot in here. Got hot in here also. But you can do, I mean, I can put anything up in the background. Any video playing. Put me in front of any video. I can capture monitors and put them in Windows. Capture Skype things and put them in Windows.
So what are you burning up? RAM?
No, you're not even that much. I'm using 10% of my CPU power to run this OBS. With it, that includes the 2 Skype streams. So
Wow.
it's not taxing it too much. Let me keep up with the chat here. Spike's still here. Well, Spike, I'm glad that you're hanging in here with us. I'll give you a crikey.
Crikey.
How you
He
like?
just wants to know how you were handling the monkey.
Yeah, Spike, I think that if you're careful, get the right guy, you should be able to recover that stuff. I know some of it's irreplaceable. I'm hoping you still have some of the, maybe you have some stuff on SD cards, or you have some stuff in cameras, or you have some stuff on other hard drives strewn around. I know it's amazing when I go looking at what I've got, the stuff that I rediscover. In fact, I wanted to here, let me get rid of that fire. I'm getting too warm here. I mean,
You know, the hardest thing, Mitch, is to not touch it right now.
yeah, but
If it was me, I'd be wanting to recover it, and I'd be trying all kinds
but
of
the
things.
problem is you got to be so careful because you can only go if you don't do exactly the right thing. You can only go from bad to worse. So I'm gonna try to find something here for you guys.
So Spike, slowly back away from the hard drive there, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know if I even have it on this computer or not. I may have it on this computer over here. I have computers in the other room. We're all networked into this one. And let's see if I have what I'm looking for.
Do you have your router out in the garage, Mitch?
No, I don't have a garage. I have a carport. But my router sits in my office right above that big desk in there. It sits right up there. It's right in the middle of the house, but all my computers are hardwired. They're not wireless. I actually ran Cat 5 cable to every one of these computers. I want to get the full bandwidth to it.
Right, and I'm sitting here on wireless, and that's what I was thinking of doing, because when I'm outside here and I try and upload to YouTube, I'll take a 4K video, 4-minute video will take around 40 minutes to upload and fully process.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
That's why I went ahead and just hardwired everything. I'll do this for next week. But I actually found some old video of me flying helicopters.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that was fun.
There's a guy at that flying field you and I were at, Mitch, that he's got this big old gas helicopter. It throws out smoke like a diesel when he's flying it.
Oh, those things are terrible, and if they use glow fuel, then they mix. You have oil mixed with the fuel, and one day, I take my Mavic out to the flying field that you saw in that video to fly, and they have an area for helicopters because they want to keep helicopters off the main runway because people are flying around down the runway and they don't want helicopters sitting there stationary in the middle. So they have a helicopter area. And down in the helicopter area, you feel like an outcast. You got a couple little tables down there, and you have where you put your, and nothing else. No sheds, no shade, no nothing. And,
the outcast.
right. So I'm flying. So they consider drones to be one step worse than helicopters. So I took the Mavic down there and I put it on the table, and sure enough, this moron with one of these gas-powered glow plug engine helicopters puts his helicopter right down next to my Mavic on that wood table and starts it up and spews that and luckily I saw what he was doing and I ran and grabbed that drone before he got started it up, but he didn't even stop to think that he would have ruined that drone, covered it with oil and grease. You never would have got that shit out of there.
Mitch, that's something we need to talk about because when I went to that field that you and I were at, okay, there's a group that flies there on Saturdays, and they do not like drone people.
Nobody likes drone people. That's why we hang out with each other.
I mean, I had one guy with a helicopter actually come near when I started out and I was flying the Phantom 4. He would come at the Phantom 4. And, of course, it has the obstacle avoidance.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had, like, 3 guys come up to me and start yelling at me. I don't stand for that
a helicopter guy yelling at a drone guy because they're the same difference.
He accused me of coming too close to his helicopter, if you can believe that. Because when this thing goes off in obstacle avoidance, we don't have any control over which direction it's going to go in.
That's why I've become kind of a loner, and I kind of hang around with people who I have a common interest with, because it just seems like these days everybody wants to fight about everything. They want to start fights when there's no reason to start fights, and argue when there's no reason to argue, and that's why I think maybe we all gravitate to YouTube, to our little community here, because everybody shares a common interest and doesn't get mad at each other. As long as we don't talk about politics, because then half of us would hate the other half of us for no reason, and that would be a shame.
That's true, but every drone stream I've been in, like, whether it's this one or Canadian Drone, everybody's, we're all cool.
Yeah.
It's never any arguments.
That's because we all have something in common, and we enjoy the same thing.
But you don't get bickering like my drone's better than your drone nonsense.
No, and was always a problem with the model airplane clubs. Was always a couple of wackos that got, that wanted to be club officers that just took it way too seriously. And the club meetings would turn into free-for-alls. People would bitch. This guy did that, and he broke the rules, and he flew too low, and then he'd yell and they'd yell. I was the president of an RC club in Orlando a number of years ago, and right in the middle of a club meeting, I just got up and quit and walked out because the crap that these people were, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, I stood up and I yelled at them. I said, guys, time out. I said, we're a bunch of grown men playing with toy airplanes here, and it's come to this. I said, I got too much going on in my life that aggravates me without having to come here to get aggravated. And I walked out, and that was the end of it.
This is supposed to be for recreation.
Yeah, it's crazy how these people get and I don't know whether it's some people is my airplane's more expensive than your airplane, but whatever it is, everybody seems to be looking for a reason to fight. Artco, how you doing, Art? Good
Hey,
to
Art.
see you. Good to see you, my friend. Wow,
That's another thing. I had to resubscribe to Artgoes yesterday. I have found that with YouTube, I don't know if you guys have noticed, it'll take a few people away from you calling them spam. Like, I've had to resubscribe to Artco, resubscribe to Pusa, and then somebody else that I knowingly know of.
What happens is when this is what I noticed. This is just my take on it. When you go into any situation where you gain more than your average number of daily subscribers that you gain. Now, let's suppose you have a channel, you gain 1, 2, 3 subs a day, or stay even for a while, and then you hit Pusa's channel, and one night you get 65 subs. You're going to lose a bunch of them because I think the YouTube algorithms are designed to discourage this sub for sub stuff, because so many of the subs you get in these channels are people that, number one, will never ever watch anything that you post. They just subbed you, so you'll sub them. You'll never watch anything that they post. So that subscription hasn't created any transactions for YouTube, any watch time, anything other than a number, a sub number, which for some reason they want those subscriber numbers to be legitimate. Now, I look at guys that have drone guys that have 100,000 subs. There's a couple of them. You've got Ready Set Drone. You got Kelly. Ken Heron's creeping up on 100,000 subs, and you look at the number of views they get on their videos, and they're not proportionately more than the number of views that you or I get, Jim, for the number of subs that we have.
Right.
In other words, they're getting a much smaller percentage of views from their subs. Now, I looked at your videos, Jim, and you get a lot of views on them. You get a lot.
They seem to like the car racing videos. That one has over 3,000.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that little video you posted yesterday, didn't you have like 175 views in the first hour or something?
Yeah.
Wow, from who?
I don't know. But if you look at YouTube, the analytics, which I did, I think it said 56% were external.
But how many subs do you have?
Oh, I don't know, 300 something.
Right, and yet, I've got 650 subs, and I don't get 150 views on anything in the first. Mike, do you get 150 views in the first hour from anybody?
Actually, yes. That can happen. I don't know if you saw the water tank video I did just about a week ago.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, that was in my neighborhood. So I posted it on Facebook on a local forum for my suburb.
Right.
And it shot up to 100 within like an hour. And all through Facebook, but they were legitimate views.
Yeah.
Of a YouTube link.
Yeah, I had that happen to me once. Ari, I just read what he posted about the fact that people are trying to get to 1,000 subs just so they can be a YouTube grown-up, I guess.
Well, YouTube made that limitation themselves, and so they have normal, everyday people trying to hit 1,000 subs.
And you can't blame them. And I'm not saying I blame people for doing this. And it frustrates me to know that when you do everything you can to get to, and the watch time too is the real number. 4,000 hours is a lot of watch time. And when you have under 1,000 subs, you got to really have some. I had one video, and I've talked about this before. One video that has got over 12,000 views on it now.
And what was the subject of the video?
how to build a vlogging rig with a GoPro Hero 7. Yeah, and
How to.
Yeah,
How to.
Right, how to, yeah.
And I mean 12 and in that video there's links to Amazon affiliate stuff and on the little pieces and parts to make that rig, and I made $130 in Amazon commissions last month off of that one video, and nothing else on my channel gets anything near those kind of views. I did an update to that video with the newest vlogging case, and that video's at 1,000 views already. But
He's grabbing the duck's tail right there. He's holding on for dear life.
making a fortune. But I don't. It went up like crazy, and then it leveled off, and then it came down again. This old video, the one that I did in January, that's got the 12,000 views. But there's no rhyme or reason for any of this. If you could figure it out, I've done some of the same things, used some of the same keywords, tried to figure out what the hell I did to make YouTube recommend it, because that's where the views come from. They show up in people's recommended, because none of these views are from my subscribers, and I've gotten about 100 subscribers from that one video too. David Maxwell, I didn't even know if I said hello to you, but it's I guess we're gonna have to say goodbye. I didn't notice you in there. I'm sorry. I see you now. I usually try to say hi to everybody, but we get gone and I get looking at trying to figure how to do something. And come on, guys, you got to be watching the chats for me. That's your job.
All right. Well, did you see what Mars says? That he's got, what did he get, 9.4 thousand views of his white car.
It's hard to figure out. It's hard to figure out what causes it. And who else did I just? Pepito, how you doing? Good morning, friend.
Pepito.
How are you? Another other side of the worlder. And Spike says one of the worst things people do when they get to the 1,000+ subs is a false sense of entitlement. Yeah, you're right. Every Spike, you know how it is in this world. Everything is a class struggle of one way or the other, and you got more money than somebody else, so they think they're better. Or they got more money than you, they got more subs than you, they think they're better.
If you don't have the watch time, it doesn't matter anyway.
It doesn't make any difference. And even if it does, even if you get 1,000 subs, and even if you manage to squeak together somehow 4,000 hours of watch time, so now you can run ads and get super chats. Well, if super chats still requires somebody donate to you, and if they wanted to donate to you, they could do that now without you can put up a PayPal account or do what Mike does, do it through DU Recorder. And if you think you're going to make a lot of money on ad revenue, it'd be a rude awakening when you first, because first of all, they got to find advertisers that want to advertise on your type of channel, and then the people have to watch the ads. They can't just click skip ad, and then maybe you get a couple pennies or a fraction of a cent for each impression.
Oh, really? If they skip the ad, you're screwed?
Yeah, you don't get you only get credited for, I think, the watch time. And now I do not know any of this for a fact. These are only things I've gleaned. As a disclaimer. Wait a minute.
Offer no purchase necessary. Offer valid participating locations where prohibited. No animals were harmed during the production of this sound.
Pete says money spoils everything, and that is so true, my man. Once money enters the game, the rules have changed.
Lawyers are out of the way. Yeah. So
Mitch, lawyers are on the way.
I don't know for a fact, but I do know that I've seen a number of videos on YouTube which I watched that said like how much money I made on video on YouTube last year, or how much I made my first year, and the consensus is that it's a ridiculously small amount of money for the amount of time and energy and work. So
you know Bruce Simpson, right, Mitch? X-Jet, RC Model Review, and X-Jet, Bruce Simpson.
I know the guy. I've seen
he did a video on the amount of money you don't make anymore.
Yeah, and I told everybody when I did my little rant last week that I basically have changed my focus on this to just having fun. I can make money much more easily and with a lot less work than this. And the fact that I was starting to worry about how many subscribers I had and am I getting enough watch time and all that other stuff, I was not enjoying it as much. You know what I mean, Jim? And Mike, I wasn't enjoying it. It stopped being fun. It started to be an obligation and something that caused me to worry about things like, well, if I don't toe the line and behave myself and obey the rules, they're going to spank me and take it away and close me down. And, you know, I spent my life worrying about the IRS doing that to me and my ex-wife doing that to me. I don't want to have to worry about somebody else out there with any kind of power to hurt me for doing nothing that I didn't do.
The list on the line is long and prestigious of those who have screwed me over, Mitch.
Yes, and I think most people that have tried to achieve in life have had their share of bad luck. And what does this say? Mars says, if you don't watch the ad, no money, Mitch. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I've actually heard some people on some of the live streams say, just want you to know, I watched the whole ad so you'd get paid for it. I've heard people say that in some of these chat rooms. Well, we're down to 14 people, I guess. They bailed to go to see Ken Hurren. Right now, they're probably watching pigeon jerky. Over here, we have monkey jerky.
I can't imagine doing a weekly show. I'm just not that entertained or entertaining rather, or interested.
Well, I don't know if I'm that entertaining or not, and one of these days soon I may run out of stuff to talk about. But I think that if I think something, then something else will come along and change the way I think. I mean, that seems to be my deal with YouTube. Is I started out in one direction and then said, nah, I think it's better to go in this direction, and maybe I'll do it that way. I still have no idea.
Well, Ken Herron's a radio guy, so he's used to being on the air every day.
Yeah.
And, 4 hours, whatever he does on the air, and he's been doing it for a couple of decades probably. So to put on, obviously there's show prep involved in lining people up, but, he's so popular now, people come to him.
But he still has 300 viewers, 350 on a good night.
You mean live?
Live people they're actually viewers. Watching live. That's 350 out of almost 100,000 subs.
Right. Right. Well, I look at the subs where I probably throw away 2/3 of them as people who never watch anything, at least, and then the ones who take the time in case they're interested to watch any video of mine, so I've got like 225, 227 people who are in my channel, and if I don't post it somewhere else or something, I get like 40 views, something like that. Of course, if it helps, if it's a better video, but
I like to watch channels to see what other people are doing with their drones. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say we all have the M2 Mavic 2 Pro. What are you doing different than I am? Because you can always learn a new trick. There's always something new to learn.
Right. In money, the idea of guys at our level making money off YouTube, I would just like to be able to live stream once in a while, doing a sunset or something like that from the drone. And unfortunately, right now we can't do that unless we're going to do that do you record a thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to get into. I'll just record a sunset and put it up.
I have this great flying field and all that, and so does Mitch up by him. And then, we were talking to each other and said, how many times do you think people actually want to see this? Not that many.
Right.
Yeah,
that's one thing I'm trying to consciously do this year for me is because drone footage is no longer amazing, We've seen it, remember 3 years ago we all got our drones or whatever and thought it was terrific. We were flying in our yards. And that's now, it's boring as hell. So, right. So I'm trying to, at least for me, do more storytelling and just definitely change up locations, as opposed to just look at this pretty scene, look at this pretty scene. and a lot more editing time goes into it. But no, I do enjoy the editing as well. But if even like the James Bond thing there, it was a little fun thing to do and easy, and people loved it. It's just a matter of coming up with different ideas, because, like you said, Jim, it's great to see. I do take the time, like you, to go look at other people's stuff, because you can always learn from somebody else, and plus, if they're watching my stuff, I want to watch their stuff too. Just to be fair about it. It's not all about me. There's a lot of about me stuff, people on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Drone in the house. How are you, my friend? You all know Dr. Drone?
I know the name.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Have you seen the guy, Pleiadian scientist, UFO builder?
I know who he is.
Yeah, I think his name is Jerry. He's building his manned drone.
Yeah. that's what.
I just have pictures of disaster going through my head, but okay.
Both. Yeah. They have that thing. Ken Heron's got that "Would you ride it" thing, that he does.
Right.
Would you ride it? Some of the contraptions these guys have, these props are like swinging 6 inches from their neck. Not me. But Dr. Drone, I've been watching his stuff lately. He's my hero. I'm following close on his footsteps, learning, because he's been flying a lot of these little whoops around in and around his house and everything.
Okay.
And he's getting good, and you can see the improvement. And I see the improvement in my flying, and I don't see it as much as and I was talking about this last week.
You're right, Tim.
When you fly RC. When you first start flying, you're not controlling the drone. You're reacting to what the drone's doing, trying to correct it.
Oh crap.
Yeah. And in RC flying, one day it just dawns on you. It's like an epiphany. You wake up and you say, "Damn, I'm in charge of this thing." I'm not even worried about it's going just where I'm putting it, and you become one with the machine, like when you drive a car. When you first got into the car for the first time, you had to think about which foot to put on which pedal and the wheel and nobody. You get to a point all of a sudden where you become a part of the machine, and that happens.
When you had a clutch.
That happens to pilots when they fly, jet fighter pilots especially. RC pilots, the faster and the more you become one, and the same thing with the FPV drones. At a certain point, it hits you that this thing is going to do exactly what I tell it to do, and you don't have to think about you just think about it, and your fingers move on the sticks, and that, Jim, from flying, you don't think about which way you're moving the sticks. You know what you want the drone to do, and you subconsciously move your hands in the right direction, and the drone does it. You become connected with the machine, and that just a couple days ago, I reached that point with this little whoop in the house here, where all of a sudden I knew that I'm going to charge right through that narrow doorway and orbit around the bedpost and charge right back out again, and I didn't think about the fact that I was looking at it in goggles or that I had sticks in my hand. And
it helps when it's not an $1,800 Mavic.
Right.
That's exactly what I said, and that's why I thought that. Let me say goodbye to Spike. Spike, once again, my friend, I let us know if you get yourself out of this mess, and hopefully it'll all have a good outcome, and you'll get all that stuff back. But keep in touch with us and let us know. And,
yeah, good luck with that, Spike.
Hooroo to you, and a crikey on the way out.
Yeah. And Tim Robinson said his railway tunnel video got a lot more hits than his general video footage. And I agree with him that you have to have a topic now.
Right.
And Dr. Drone keeps asking me if I ever
cool.
flew my Tyro yet. Well, I'm about ready to now. And
Is that the 5-inch one?
That's the 5-inch, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think I'm at a point where I can handle it without worrying about wrecking it. And that's what I started to talk about that a little earlier in this video, was that the philosophy that I've always had was ultra cautious, because the models that I used to fly were ridiculously expensive, these turbine jets, and very, very time consuming to build. And you approach them with great caution. You'd build them, and then you'd get them into primer, and then you'd fly them and get everything right, and then you'd make all the adjustments on it, and then you'd build a little more, and then you'd start the finishing and the painting and all of that on them. And with the drones, I thought, well, I'm an RC pilot, man. You know, I'm big time pilot. You know, big time. I flew jets. I won contests. Nothing to this little FPV shit. This is easy. You know, goggles. Hell, I'm a real time, big time pilot too. I can fly airplanes, instrument rated, flight instructor. This, what? There's nothing to this. It's a piece of cake. I'll just buy myself 100 friggin' mile an hour drone and just jump right in. And then, what a rude awakening I had when I put those goggles on for the first time and didn't know what the hell to do, and didn't know which way to move the sticks, and I couldn't interpret what my eyes were seeing and bring it into perspective as to how to control the drone. It was, don't ever get too cocky, because the world has a way of knocking you down a few pegs. And I got to tell you, it hit me. And I said, whoa. I said, intellectually, I know everything I need to know about how to do this. But from a reflex standpoint, from a muscle memory standpoint, this was different. I took the Tyro 99 out, and no goggles. I took it up and I whipped it around and flew it around and did all that shit with it, because it was like flying an airplane. Line of sight, I know how to do that. I know which way to turn it when it's coming this way or coming that way. That's not a problem. Put the goggles on. Tunnel vision. Yep. I mean, I just completely lost. So I said,
because you want to see it, or what?
Because I had to think about it. It was almost it was like a delay in me thinking. It is if I'm looking at a drone and I'm flying it out there and it starts to go down, I see it going down. But when you're looking through that camera out there, to notice that your drone is going down takes longer to register until it becomes part of some kind
part
of
of you.
Yeah,
right.
And it didn't take too long. But
you've got it going pretty good though, Mitch.
Flying the simulator and flying the little whoops in the house, where you really have tremendous visual cues as to your altitude and where you are, because you've got doorways and furniture and ceilings and floors. It's a great learning tool. And
now, which simulator did you use? And did you really use a simulator?
The Velocidrone, Velocidrone simulator. And I actually did it on a live stream one night and flew around with it. And I didn't have too much of a problem with that, because it was in a big wide open area. And I've learned that the more stuff there is around, the easier it is to fly. You'd think it's easier to fly in a big wide open area, but it's not. It's easier to fly when you got trees and buildings and things that you can gauge your distance from. And
markers,
things so you that give you references in the real world space to fly. But I'm still a rank beginner at this FPV stuff, and I'm proud of myself that I'm able to bomb around the house like I did, and I'm starting to do it faster and faster, and push that thing, drive it through the doorways. And next thing is going to be going under the chair legs and under the bed, and stuff that's a little trickier, but you can't hurt anything. You can't. That's the nice thing about that little drone. Yeah. It's cheap. It was $50. It came with 3 batteries.
Oh,
and
Tim Robinson. Tim's got a good question for you, Mitch. perspective-wise, he's never flown FPV, but he's saying if you're doing it from scratch, the size of things in the view, like when you were going under between the table and the kitchen,
Yeah.
and through, is there a difference in the perspective from the actual size?
No, that's what you have to learn, and you can't. You basically, I'm learning it by just doing it, without thinking about it. You know, every time I fly that thing, it just becomes a little less thinking about which way do I have to push this stick. I just become more connected to it, and you have to. And I watched a video from Mr. Steele last week where he was flying in this office park, and they were diving down into the garages, into parking garages, and flying into the elevators. And I can't even imagine. But then again, these are the same guys that would fly the 3D helicopter stuff. Remember that? Where they would do that 3D helicopter stuff and end up, you know, coming straight down inverted to the ground and stopping an inch off the ground and then bouncing back up and flipping around and tick-tocking. And
I never saw that.
Yeah, I could fly a few little 3D maneuvers with the helicopters. I could do some rolls and some loops and things, but those are kids that just live that stuff. And the only way to learn that kind of flying is to just wreck and wreck and wreck and wreck. And these guys that learn this kind of drone flying, that they have to constantly be wrecking drones. And that's what they want. They want to keep trying to outdo each other with stuff that seems seemingly impossible. I'm not interested.
Did you see that one? Did you see that one FPV where the train was running and this guy's going in and out of the cars while it's...
No, I didn't see that, but I can imagine it. And that's the kind of stuff that people... It's like anything else. You know, you got a YouTube channel, and you know the same old boring stuff isn't going to cut it. So you got to keep pushing the envelope and doing things that are wilder and more seemingly impossible than the last time. But that's not my style. Tim, did I answer your question?
I hope I asked it correctly.
Tim Robinson thanked me for answering his question, and I don't know. Oh, if you have do you learn perspective from scratch? I mean, aside from things. No, you don't have. Yeah, I don't know if I directly answered it, but no, you don't have to learn it from scratch, especially if you fly in your house like that, because you already know how wide the doorway is, and so in that respect, you have reference. I found that when I went outside and flew around, and I knew there were trees, and I knew there were things, and I knew I could crash into a roof and not have to climb up there to get the drone, I was more nervous than flying around in the house. And I did mention last week that I did lose my drone in my house one day. I was flying it, and it went somewhere, and I couldn't find it. It actually went underneath a piece of furniture, and I didn't even remember which room I was in. I had to go back to replay the tape. Go back to the video. Back to the video. So I went back to the goggles, and I played back the video, and at the end to see what the hell room I was in and which piece of furniture went under. Damn, I mean, and I'm saying to myself, of all the stupid, dumb shit to do, lose your drone inside your house. Imagine out there in one of the, and that's another problem I worry about, is that these little tiny drones, you know, when they go down in the grass, what every blade of grass looks like a tree in the camera, and you can't see where it is. And if you don't know where your drone went down, that's why they have beepers on them and ways of, they have a mode they call turtle mode, and it means exactly what it sounds like. It's when the drone goes over on its back, you click, you disarm the throw, you put it in turtle mode, you arm it, and then by moving the stick, it'll flip over this way or front or back, and you can work it. And if it gets in a tree, a lot of times you can use this turtle mode to get it out of the tree. and have
See, I never heard of that.
Yeah, I didn't either until I started learning about the technical side of this FPV, and there is quite a technical side to it. There's about the beta flight and all the flight controllers in different modes, and then the video transmitters and smart audio and
now they keep coming out with new ones. I heard now just the other day about Cube Pilot.
I hadn't heard about that one.
It's a new board that you know the Cube, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's a new version of that.
But the technology keeps growing, and you really have to. It's a lot. I find it fascinating because I like technology, but for a lot of guys, I could think that it's too complicated. You know, you're dealing with radios, you're dealing with video transmissions, you're dealing with. To me, it's the kind of hobby that I like, but you gotta like that stuff, and you gotta God knows how many. I've ignored the Mavics lately, just spending all this time watching learning everything I can learn about the FPV and the actual technical side of it, so that I know what I'm doing. There's another thing.
Do you find it more exciting than flying your Mavic Pro?
At this point, yeah. Because I find it more like RC flying, which is more exciting. Flying the Mavic Pro is not the exciting thing about that is the cinematic aspect. Actually, flying the drone for me is almost boring because you don't really fly it. You don't whip it around the sky and do maneuvers with it. You're moving it from one place to another to take pictures, and it's a camera drone, and I enjoy the photography aspect of it, but I missed the flying aspect of it. Going into a loop, coming out of a loop, doing a roll, doing a split S, coming in underneath, doing the kind of things you would do with an airplane, you can do with these drones, and you can do even more. The one maneuver that I really like when I see the freestyle FPV, they have racing guys and freestyle guys. The freestyle guys are the guys that don't race, but they're out there looking to get very impressive videos. And one of the maneuvers I really like is a power loop. And you'll see these guys, they'll just blast the thing and it goes and it goes way up high, and then they pull back on the throttle and it hangs and comes down real slow. Down, and then they power up as they come down low to the ground and come out of it. It goes up in an instant, and then it hangs up there and comes down, or it'll come straight down and dive a building or dive a tree. I love that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I want to practice. But no,
I'm gonna check out.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we're all going to probably check out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
It's been a couple 2.5 hours, and
Jesus.
Yeah, it goes fast, Jim, when you're on these live streams. And if you want to do some live streams and you want me to help you out, get you some watch time, I'll be tickled to death. Mike Roche, anytime, man. You just let me know. And
well, I don't even know how to do them, so I just get on other people's.
Well,
I'm not worried about ours.
You can, okay, but anytime if you wanted to have a live stream, you let me know. I don't get many invitations. I'm not one of the popular kids for some reason. I don't know why. But
you're about to hit it big, Mitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm having fun. I'm doing one of these a week. I think this Thursday thing is a good time. Not a lot of competition. I usually plan to be off by 8:00. That's always the plan. But then we get talking, and next thing you know, it's 8:30. Last time it was 9:00.
Like everything, there's a plan, and then there's what happens.
We hit so many subjects here.
Well, we always do, and it's fun, and I like to dig out. I enjoyed showing the video of our little. I'm probably going to make a video out of that and put it up on YouTube and edit it down a little bit better than what I did. But
one day Mitch will be as famous as Mike. I see him on every channel now.
Oh, Mike Roche, God, he's everywhere. He started here, man. This was his.
Mitch was the first guy who made me feel welcome into his channel.
We broke the cherry on Mitch's shell.
Yeah, we brought him right out of his shell and created a monster. And even Paul Murray was one of his early appearances was with me.
Yeah.
And then he became a
he's like Ed Sullivan. He just makes people.
everywhere. Yeah.
Anyway, well, thanks for the invite again.
Oh, anytime, Mike. I'd like to consider you a regular on this deal if you're up for it.
Only thing with summer coming up here is with all this live stream stuff, with no particular one. Just I want to be out flying more as opposed to sitting in front of the computer.
Well, I don't want you here every week either. So
right. But I mean, you know what I mean. It's
sounds out later. Yeah.
Oh, I know, I understand, but we're gonna do it, and if I have 10 people in there, I'll have 10 people. We had a nice night tonight. We had 25 some people for a while till Ken Herron came on, and after a while, we're all gonna get boring, and it's time to have a little dinner. So Mike, I'm gonna give you a round of applause. Jim, one for you. And with that, I think I'm going to see if I got some music here. Do I have music?
Johnny Carson, play us out, right?
Wait a minute. There it is. You probably don't hear that yet, guys, but it's out. It's going out into the stream. So we have a little music, and I have no idea how to. I can shut this off. No,
tomorrow night, Joey Bishop and Don Rickles.
Yeah, Don Rickles are going to be here straight from the cemetery, man. Both of them. All right, guys. At any rate, you all, thanks for coming. Thanks, everybody in the chat. And I appreciate it. Mars, thank you. Peter Carroll, thank you. Tim Robinson, thanks for hanging around. Thomas O'Sullivan and Ari at Remote Pilots Australia, thank you so much. Dr. Drone, always a pleasure. Who did I miss? I think that's about all we got left hanging around. EBR, if you're still in the house, thanks for stopping by. And there was one I missed completely, Barnacle FPV. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Anyway, guys, with that, we're going to shut it down. Okay, you take care, and we'll see you next time. Mike, take care. Bye-bye.